Hello, my name is Tushar and I am the Fitness Minimalist. I'm here to show you the easiest way to learn push-ups for beginners. Now before we begin, you probably already know that the push-up is a fantastic exercise to increase your upper body and upper extremity strength, as well as strengthen your core and maintain that core stability that allows us to have great posture when we walk and we sit and we do other exercises. So if you have any medical or health issues concerning your joints, such as your shoulder, elbows, wrists, or other medical problems in general, please consult your personal physician or healthcare provider before you start learning the push-up or any other fitness program. So if you're ready, let's begin. So what does a push-up look like? You know, for many years, I thought I was doing push-ups right, but then when I looked back, I was really performing them wrong. My back was sagging, my elbows were splaying apart like that, and it just wasn't right, and I wasn't getting results because my technique and form was wrong. So ideally, the push-up should be done with the hands on the ground, about shoulder width apart, with slow, controlled motions. So let me show you a push-up, and then hopefully I'll show you the progressions. So you want to put your hands on the ground, just at shoulder width. Body is in a tight, rigid line, forming a plank. And you slowly, with controlled motions, lower yourself to the ground and raise yourself. And you want to keep your elbows as close as you can to your body. That will give you the maximum results for a push-up. So how am I going to teach you the push-up? It's simple. We're going to use progressions or steps. We're going to start with the easiest step and slowly add gravity until we're going from a standing position down to the floor. And by starting with an easier step, you can learn the proper range of motion, form, and technique before you start adding gravity, which, as you know, is the force that allows us to get strong and fit, but it can't get in the way in the beginning. That's why I don't want you to start learning push-ups by going to the ground. So step one is called the air push-up. The air push-up is simply doing a push-up standing up with no resistance. All you have to do is put your hands straight in front of you, a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. I kind of spread out my fingers because that's how I do push-ups on the ground. And you're going to mimic the push-up motion. Important tip is where your head and chin is positioned. It should be in a neutral, straight ahead position. You should not be arching your neck and raising your chin or collapsing your chin, flexing your chin towards your neck. And that way you'll remember how to do this during regular push-ups. All you need to do is simply bring your elbows back towards your side and push out. This is a great warm-up before you do push-ups, and it's a great way to get your body used to the proper range of motion. You can notice I am bringing my elbows close to my sides. I am not out here splayed out. My hands are not in some crazy position like this or that, and they're not doing this. I've seen people doing push-ups like that, but you want to do them like this. So you practice with the air push-up. I'll show you from the side. All I'm doing is bringing my elbows back as close as I can to my sides as possible. And I'll show you from the back view. Now when you bring your elbows back, you want to forcefully or willfully contract your scapula, your shoulder blades. You have two of these bones right on the side, one on the left, one on the right in your back. And when you bring your elbows back, you want to squeeze those scapula or shoulder blades together. You can notice my elbows are close to the side. They're not out doing this, because that's not the way you want to do push-ups on the ground. And my chin is looking in a neutral position, looking straight forward. So you want to actually squeeze those scapula together or shoulder blades while you're doing it, and you're going to feel a little tired when you do this. So how many of those should you do? Whatever you're comfortable with. Maybe in the beginning you can only do 5 or 10, depending on how strong you are. Once you're up to 20, 25, you can progress to the next step. And that's step 2, and step 2 is the wall push-up. So now that you're comfortable with step 1, the air push-ups, we'll do step 2, which is the wall push-up, which is pretty much the air push-up done against the wall. You're going to use the same position. Hands just at or slightly more than shoulder width apart. You're going to find the wall. They're very convenient. And you're going to position your hands at the same level and basically raise your feet so your heels are off the ground. You might have to adjust your distance from the wall to what's comfortable. And you're going to slowly lower yourself to the wall and push away. You're going to do this with deliberate motions. You're not going to crash down towards the wall. You can kind of resist yourself as you go towards the wall. Your elbows will be up against your sides and your shoulder blades will contract together. You want to be very mindful of what you're doing. That way you can feel it on both sides, on both the lowering and the pushing away. Once you get good at that, you can kind of take another step back, lower your hands a little closer to the ground, and do the same wall push-up again. Remember, try to keep your chin in a neutral position, and and your elbows close to the side, you're going to start to feel these. Wall push-ups are a good step to getting towards the ground push-up. When you're doing these, you want to make sure your back and your legs are all contracted. You want to squeeze your buttocks together. Keep your back in a straight line. You don't want to be arching your back when you're doing these or sticking your butt out. You want to have everything in a nice plank, rigid plank-like position. And that's the wall push-up. Once you're comfortable with doing, let's say, 10 to 15 of these for 3 sets, resting about a minute or 2 between each set, you can progress to step 3. So step 3 is called the counter push-up, and all you need is a sturdy counter. You got to make sure that it's going to be good enough to hold your weight, and the last thing you want to do is fall down when doing a counter push-up or break the counter. I happen to have a high counter right here, which is ideal to start with. It's a little bit at or above my waist. All I'm going to do is put my hands up against the side of the counter, get up on the balls of my feet, just like we did with the wall push-up, and with slow, deliberate motion, I'm going to lower myself till my chest barely touches the counter and push away. You can notice my elbows are close to my sides, they're not splaying out. My hands are not on top of the counter, they're up against the side. And I'm using deliberate motions. I am trying to forcefully contract my muscles on both the up and the down. Notice my body is in a rigid line, it's not arched. I don't have a sagging back and my buttock isn't standing up, sticking up. You don't want to do them this way, that's wrong. You don't want to do them this way either, you're going to hurt your back. You want everything in a nice tight line so you can see it straight line from my balls of my feet all the way up to my neck. My neck is not arched or flexed. And that's the counter push-up. I'll show you from a different angle. Here I am. Notice my elbows are close to the side. I'm bringing my shoulder blades together. I'm not arching my neck or flexing my neck. It's in a neutral position. And you're going to start feeling these, especially in your triceps and in your lat muscles while you're doing this. So that's counter push-up on a high counter. Once you can do maybe 3 sets of 10, we're going to just get a lower counter and work our way down to the ground. So now that you've mastered counter push-ups on a taller counter, say above your waist, you're able to do maybe 3 sets of 10 push-ups with a little bit of rest, a minute or 2 between each set. All you have to do is find a lower counter that's, again, sturdy and safe. Put your hands against the counter. Remember, you're going to keep everything in a nice straight line. You're not going to want to arch your back. You're not going to want to bend at the waist and touch like this. You want your chin in a neutral position. And you're going to keep your elbows close to the side. And all we're doing is adding a little more resistance and gravity. I can already start feeling that in the back of my arms. And also right here in the lat muscles, because I'm keeping my body in a rigid line. Once you're good with that, you just find an even lower counter. This happens to be the side of a tub. You may want to use a park bench or a sturdy chair or something else. And again, notice my back is in a tight line. I've contracted my buttocks. I'm keeping my ab and my core tight. And I'm deliberately, slowly lowering myself. I'm not crashing into this. You want to barely touch this with your chest and then push away. You're going to start to feel this very quickly. This feels like a ground push-up. Now remember, this is not a race. These are progressions. And the purpose of progressions is to get your body used to the motion. This is not the Olympics. We're not trying to see who can break the speed record on doing counter push-ups. I want to just get your body used to this motion and strong enough so when you start doing it against the ground with full gravity working against you, you'll have great form and get the best results. So while you're working on step 3, which is the counter push-up, I also want you to start working on step 4, which is the top plank or the push-up hold, where you simply get into the top position of a push-up and hold it there, keeping your body contracted in a nice straight line. What you want to do again is keep your hands at or slightly greater than shoulder width apart, put them on the ground, get on the balls of your feet, and you want to forcefully, or think about this, you want to contract your buttocks and thighs together, tighten up your ab muscles, and keep everything in a rigid straight line like a plank. You're going to want your shoulders at or slightly in front of your wrists, whatever's comfortable. You want to be on the balls of your feet, your heels up. Your chin should not be flexed or arched, and your back should be in a nice straight line. You don't want to arch your back like this. None of these, this is not yoga, this is not upward dog. You want your buttock in the air like downward dog. So you want everything in a nice push-up position. And you're going to have to keep your elbows locked or tight. And you're going to feel this. Your body's going to start shaking because you're contracting everything. Your abs, your buttocks, your thighs. And at the same time supporting your weight. So you want to be able to hold this for about 30 to 60 seconds. And this should get you ready for ground push-ups. So in summary, this is what we learned today. When we want to learn push-ups, first we do the warm-up or the air push-up just to get our body used to it with no resistance. Then we're going to slowly add some resistance on the wall. When we get comfortable with the wall, we'll start using the counter. And as we're getting better and stronger on the counter push-ups, we're going to get to the ground and just do our top plank or our top push-up hold just to get our body used to having more gravity applied to it. Just some words of advice here. These progressions are meant to be taken at your own pace. Not everybody is meant to learn ground push-ups on day one. That's why we have progressions. We take away gravity, then we slowly add it until you get comfortable with it. I would rather have you be stuck on a step, say the high counter push-up, than rush through these steps and get to the ground and have a horrible push-up that looks like this. You know, you're just not doing it right. You're going to arch your back, you're going to get hurt. Sometimes it's best to have better form with maybe less gravity applied than it is to rush to the final product and just do it so poorly that you're going to hurt yourself or not get any results. I'd rather see you do slow, controlled counter push-ups. I don't care how high the counter is, and get great results. You can get fit just doing this if you do enough of them. So take your time. This is not a race. Remember, the tortoise beat the proverbial hare by slow, consistent gains over time. And that's the basis of my philosophy for the Minimalist.com, which you can visit me at, or DNAFITS.com. I know you can do this. Just take your time and listen to what your body is telling you. So till next time, have an awesome day and let's get fit together.